The Freihaus. When you embark on your trip, all sorts of curious incidents will take place. This is a place to learn about yourself, your interests, your emotions, and about what is real for you. You are free to do it any way you wish. It is for everyone of all backgrounds. And the chief aim of freedom is to provide both the opportunity and the inducement to ensure the maximum use of the knowledge that an individual can acquire. The Freihaus is a school inspired by the Greek schole, which consists in free time, a place for leisure, entertainment, and rest. Each chamber suggests a form of play that should help you acquire knowledge. It is played or performed within a playground, and played moreover as a feast in mirth and freedom. A sacred place, a temporarily real world of its own, has been expressly hedged off for it. But with the end of the play, its effect is not lost. Rather, it continues to shed its radiance on the ordinary world outside. These observations will perhaps not be displeasing to the curious. No learning programs are used. The bel esprit is conceived as a person who acts decisively on the basis of individual, but justifiable, intuition. Different people's intuitions give different answers here. The participants in the rite are convinced that the action actualizes and affects a definite beautification, brings about an order of things higher than that in which they customarily live. The sacred performance is more than an actualization in appearance only, a sham reality. It is also more than a symbolic actualization. It is a mystical one. In it, something invisible takes a beautiful, holy form. Chamber 1. The Nap. Your first step is to rest, sleep, and dream. It is not a game as such, but it is fundamental to the safety of play. As a regularly recurring relaxation, however, it becomes the accompaniment, the complement in fact, an integral part of life in general. It adorns life, amplifies it, and is to that extent a necessity both for the individual as a life function and for society by reason of the meaning it contains, its significance, its expressive value, its spiritual and social associations, in short, as a cultural function. Chamber 2. The Miraculous Fishing. Alia implies the games of hazard and chance. Luck should bring you to be curious and encourage you to discover. There are no instructions to this room. Architecture, which is a matter of plastic emotion, should use those elements which are capable of affecting our senses. Plastic elements, forms which our eyes see clearly and which our mind can measure. By this pursuit, the mind is always carried forward in search of something more excellent than it finds, and obtains its proper superiority over the common senses of life by learning to feel itself capable of higher aims and nobler enjoyments. In this gradual exaltation of human nature, even art contributes its contingent towards the general supply of mental pleasure. Play casts a spell over us. It is enchanting, captivating. It is invested with the noblest qualities we are capable of perceiving in things, rhythm and harmony. Here our judgment wavers, for although the attribute of beauty does not attach to play as such, play nevertheless tends to assume marked elements of beauty. A fundamental desire resides in these specific needs, which finds its specific embodiments, its moments in play, in sexuality, in corporal activities, in creative activity, in art, and in learning, which more or less overcome the specialized division of labor. Chamber 3. Zigging up the zag. E-links implies the games of vertigo and heights. By trusting yourself, you should acquire self-confidence. In this room, you must find your way up to the next level. Be aware, the stairs are lying. All play means something. If we call the active principle that makes up the essence of play instinct, we explain nothing. If we call it mind or will, we say too much. However we may regard it, the very fact that play has a meaning implies a non-materialistic quality in the nature of the thing itself. We know, however, that in child-life performances of this kind are full of imagination. The child is making an image of something different, something more beautiful or more sublime, or more dangerous than what he usually is. Without intuition, we get nowhere, even though most of our intuitions eventually turn out wrong. It is hypotheses which discover facts, and not vice versa. In default of knowledge properly so called, reserved to pure intelligence, intuition may enable us to grasp what it is that intelligence fails to give us, and indicate the means of supplementing it. Tension means uncertainty, chanciness, a striving to decide the issue and so end it. The player wants something to go, to come off. He wants to succeed by his own exertions. How can I be an object to myself? Or, how can I be an object of my own intuition and internal perceptions? Chamber 4. Real Virtuality. Agon is the concept of competition, and mimicry implies imitations. Both of these moments in play should encourage you to undertake. In this experimental space, you are free to create and destroy as you wish. You may experience without any consequences. Neither the negation nor the mere form of intuition can, without something real, be an object. By forms and shapes, it affects our senses. They live by being taken up, connected to, built upon, and modified in the ongoing discourse and practice. It does not recognize not being allowed, and it calls it not daring. For it, the problem of obedience and conscience is no more than fear of punishment. Children's games, football and chess, are played in profound seriousness. The players have not the slightest inclination to laugh. Here then we have the first main characteristic of play, that it is free, is in fact freedom. A second characteristic is closely connected to this, namely that play is not ordinary or real life. It is rather a stepping out of real life into a temporary sphere of activity with a disposition all of its own. Every child knows perfectly well that he is only pretending, or that it was only for fun. But if architecture is inevitably about the invention of fictions, it should also be possible to propose an architecture that embodies another fiction, one that is not sustained by the values of presentness or universality. In this intensity, this absorption, this power of maddening, lies the very essence, the primordial quality of play. We have to believe that there are infinite coincidences, that there is chaos in the midst of the most perfect, harmonious, and beautiful of all creations. This intensity of and absorption in play finds no explanation in biological analysis. Yet madness is no longer a dark power that threatened to undo the world, revealing fantastical seductions, and no longer showed the violence of bestiality or the great struggle between knowledge and interdiction. At the opposite pole to this nature of darkness, madness also exerts a fascination because it is knowledge. It seems that next to Homo faber, and perhaps on the same level as Homo sapiens, Homo ludens, man the player, deserves a place in our nomenclature.